everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Good morning.
Miggs and Swigs. Blah, blah, blah.
That's such a much sexier voice than I'm used to in the
Yeah.
mornings here. Welcome to the Miggs and Swig show. It's JoJo here running this thing. No Miggs, no Swig, but
Lots of swag.
yes, that is the voice of the one and only Kevin Martin from Candlebox and a plethora of other things which we're going to get into, and I'm very excited. Thank you for getting up early today and being here.
What is it, 7 o'clock here in Los Angeles?
Yes, it's so early.
Woke up at 5:45. I was excited.
You
I
were?
love talking. I mean, I love talking.
Well, good. Then you can just do all the talking today.
Love
I'm
to
just
hear
going to ask
myself talk.
all the questions to you. And if anybody else is out there listening this morning on your drive on this Saturday morning, 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. Or you can tweet at Miggs and Swig and ask your Twitter handle is
I
at
don't even know. What is it?
I am like the letter
I am
KM?
KM, yeah.
Okay.
I am KM. Letter.
All the juice I'm going to try to get from you today. 'Cause that's what I do.
Got plenty.
I like the juice.
Plenty juice.
Yeah, Don is out frolicking with his wife this weekend. Swig is on his way with his entire family. God love him, to Hawaii. So it's
What?
just me. I know.
Why aren't we could have done a show from over there.
No, we're good here.
Would that be 4 in the morning then? We'd be up at 4 in the morning doing the show.
No thanks.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
good.
that's
This is early enough.
Good morning, Tampa.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay area. We're in Los Angeles, which it's really nice out this morning.
It is beautiful.
Not that June gloomy anymore.
No.
It's been raining
Yeah.
since I left there, so
Yeah, I heard the whole town's like underwater, right?
yeah, that's usually how it goes in the summer. So I'm glad to be gone.
Everybody seems shocked. I was watching the news. Can you believe the water? Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
can.
kinda
This is what it does
happens.
every year.
Tropical.
So we're used to it. What I'm not used to still, and I want to read you some text messages because, so as you know, Kevin, you've known me for a while now.
Yes,
I am single.
Unfortunately.
Oh, thank you. But there's a reason for it. And now I don't know if I put myself out there and I got to go on date. I get it from both sides. You got to go out there and you got to try and meet people and whatever. So I do. And then in the next breath, it'll happen when it's supposed to. Don't force it. Just let it come to you. So then I do that and then still
sound like
nothing
your dad.
happens. I did?
Yeah, let it come to.
That was Ben.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I am on pretty much all of the dating apps. I've tried the eHarmonies, the Match.coms, all of those. Christian Mingle's not really my thing. I am thinking about, what's the Jewish one? I mean, at this
J-Date.
point, why not?
J-Date.
Yes, J-Date. Yeah.
We're in LA. You should do the J-Date because it's
I mean, I'm getting
Jewish out here
there.
anyways.
So there's all these apps. There's one that's called Hater, and it matches you based on likes and dislikes. So you swipe, not necessarily. Well, you do swipe people still,
Middle
but
finger up.
but you also swipe, like, it'll give you a random topic. Airplanes. Do you like airplanes? Do you hate airplanes? Do you like, and you swipe and then it matches you. And based on that percentage, it finds people for, to send your way to talk to.
It's not an opposites attract sort of thing. It's an actual attraction sort
Yes,
of. Okay.
exactly. What is wrong with my voice today? So.
I have that effect on me. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So, Hater. Well, there's Bumble. Bumble is where women have to initiate the conversation. So that it isn't always left up to the men.
Isn't that how it is nowadays anyways?
Well, I feel, I don't know, because if I try to initiate conversation, then I'm too aggressive and it's too much. And then if I sit back and wait, then I'm a bitch and I don't know why, she can't just come over and talk to me. And
Okay. All right.
it's a constant lose-lose for me, I feel. So I just mess around with it. I'm out of town for the summer. And I just see what's out there. So I come across Jerry with a G.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. We were chatting. He said that he had asked me to send him pictures because the ones that were posted on my profile, they were stretched out and he just couldn't tell what I looked like. Like, I said, what kind of phone do you have? Do you have a flip phone? I don't understand
exactly.
why.
What year? He's 2017, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I sent him pretty much the same ones that I had already posted. I don't really take selfies. I don't like them. Whatever.
I'm with you on that.
I have a hard time with
I
that.
have to be doing something in it to feel as though I'm okay taking.
Well,
a picture.
and in this circumstance, like if I was going to send you one, I really wouldn't care what I looked like. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't a great angle or whatever. But if I'm trying to get to know somebody or want to date them or whatever, I want them to be good. So I feel like my fat face from all these bad angles of me holding my phone isn't really going to do the trick. So I sent him some ones that I already had, and he didn't seem to like those, and it wasn't enough. I want a full body one. I said, well, that's not happening, so I can't. It's hard. I'm not doing it. So my phone, when I'm out here, I don't get the best reception. So I thought I had seen his name come up like on it, that he had texted me. But when I went to look in my text messages, it wasn't there, which has happened to me before.
Sure.
So I texted him and I said, hey, I thought I saw a message come in from you, but I can't find it. How are you? And I hadn't heard from him in like a week or whatever since I didn't send him more pictures and a full body one.
Right.
So he writes back and we start talking and goes on to say that, yes, he stopped talking to me because I didn't send him pictures. Failure to be open with pics is a big turnoff for me. Like it was really a privilege to get 2 pictures. Beggars can't be choosers. Honey, I don't beg for anything. First of all, don't ever honey me. So I said, well, clearly you have zero patience or a sense of humor, which is a huge turnoff for me.
Right.
And it's a shame that pictures are what's most important to you, not, having good conversation or chemistry or whatever. So then he went on and on. We start talking. I happen to mention something about sex. Well, now we want to talk to me.
Yeah, now it's on.
Now because I'm a fan and I'm into it and whatever. So we start talking. He sends a picture of him.
Nice.
In
prison?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just a nice little below the belt.
Ooh.
I mean, it really wasn't. But when he sent it, I didn't answer right away.
Oh, no.
Because I was busy doing something.
How dare you?
So
he sent you an actual dick pic.
Yeah. There it is. Still have it. I wish I could post it.
Okay.
By the way, this is the most conversation we've ever had.
I
and then
swear to God.
this is what he sends me. Because he said, oh, send me over something sexy. And I said, oh, by all means, you first. So he did.
You should have mailed him a piece of lingerie or something.
So he did it. I didn't answer right away. Now, I mean, it was like maybe 10 minutes. Which, by the way, if I were to say that to somebody about not answering, I'm psychotic because people have lives and do stuff.
Yep.
So then he wrote, well, question mark, didn't answer, and then said, and F you too.
It's awesome.
I said, I hope to God you're joking with me right now. And then, we've been texting for like an hour now pretty consistently, and then I send that and you stop writing me. It was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was doing something. I'm sorry that it didn't meet your time restraint. So I just told him, I was like, I said, I just want you to know that I really didn't think that you were going to send one. I said, but even still speaking to me like that for no reason is not okay. I said, actually speaking to me like that at all is not okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't talked to Jerry with a G in a minute, but that's what I deal with.
Let's get Jerry on the phone.
I wish I could.
Let's give Jerry a call.
Oh, that would be funny. He doesn't know what I do. I mean, we didn't even get that far. We'd never had any conversation.
Do we have Jerry's last name too? We can probably find him.
Oh, I'm sure I can
have a lot of
find
fun
him.
with that.
Jerry with a G.
Jerry with a G out there. Is he in Tampa or is he, or is he here in Los Angeles?
I want boys to know, like.
But is he here in Los Angeles or is he?
He's in Tampa.
Oh yeah. That looks like something somebody from Tampa would do.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
This is what I deal with.
It must be tough to be a woman.
That's what I want to know your thoughts on dating, because clearly you didn't have Hater and Bumble and Tinder and all these
I know. I just dated them all.
Yes.
Hater and Bumble and Tinder.
Yes. Those girls.
Yeah.
They were fun. Back in your
back in the day when
partying days.
When I was able to enjoy myself when I was a kid. You know, I don't know. I never dated. I met all my girlfriends either at school or at a dinner party or at a friend's house, or I never had to go out on the dating scene, so it's never. Well, that's not actually. Well, no, that's not true. I only dated. I got divorced in 1999.
I don't think I
for
knew
my
you were,
first.
I don't think I
first
knew you were
marriage.
married.
Yeah, I was married to a Scientologist. It was rad.
Shut up.
Yeah, but I didn't know she was a Scientologist for a few years while we were together, and then she told me.
Oh, we are gonna have to talk about that too.
So yeah, so we got divorced, and I dated a couple girls, but they kind of, again, sort of fell in my lap sort of thing. Like, I didn't really go,
And I'm
hey.
sure they did.
So I didn't really have to, like, go out and, do the dinners and whatnot. So I really don't know. But I do know that it is difficult for women in general, I think, across the board, being single and trying to meet a nice guy, because men are pigs. I mean, that's the perfect example, and I'm telling you, 99% of us are like that. I mean, it really is. We just feel as though this is our world, and that's how we're going to do it. And you see in the news every single day, somebody does exactly what Jerry with a G just did to you. It's every day. The Daily Mail. If you look online at the Daily Mail, there's some jackass out there that's doing the same thing.
Well, and I'm fine. I'm fine if that's what if it's just about the sex. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't really believe that I'm going to meet somebody substantial
And marry him from Tinder or Hater or
correct.
whatever it is. Yeah.
So I understand the purpose, and that's why I'm on there, to just meet somebody, have a little conversation, hang out, grab. That was my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me to go meet you for a beer.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go and hang out for a minute so I can see your face and know that you're somewhat representing the picture that you post, and vice versa.
Well,
that
everybody's
I am.
getting catfish nowadays as well.
Well,
so.
right. So let's go out, let's hang out. I mean, it doesn't have to be whatever, but that's my like. There's no effort there. I feel like the decency of it all is lost, and like.
But that's all because of technology. I mean, that's really these machines we have are pulling us further and further away from being social.
Yeah.
It's social networking is no longer what it was supposed to be. It's now just networking socially rather than being in a social environment and having a conversation. I mean, I get inundated with emails all the time, being in the band and doing what I do. Somebody will send an email to our Facebook page or something, and we have staff and people that work on that. We do run it as a band, but we don't always see them. We don't always see the emails, or maybe a manager's opened it and looked at it or something. And then a week later, well, I thought you guys were cool, but screw you. You're the worst band ever because you don't respond to your emails. Like, wait, what are you talking about? What happened?
Yeah.
Like years and years ago when I was a kid, I wrote Kiss a letter when I was in the Kiss Army. A letter.
Mailed it.
I never got anything back from them.
Right.
They didn't write me back,
Were you
and
still
I
a
didn't
fan?
hate them. I loved them.
Yeah.
But this is the world that we are in now. So
that immediate gratification.
It's instantaneous,
Yes.
and if they don't get it, that's where they go.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening with road rage. It's what's happening with traffic and dating and work and everything. People are getting so crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting what they want right now. And that's the problem.
And by the way, with the least amount of work being done for it,
No one
as
wants to work.
No.
No one wants to work.
No.
Why would you want to work for something?
When you can have it
When
instantaneously.
you can just send a dick pic and hopefully you're going to get a boob pic.
Yeah.
And that's what people think.
Yeah. I think we might have to take a break, and the lovely, sexy voice that you're hearing is that of one Kevin Martin from Candlebox, who's
Jump,
here
tell I
with
was gonna
me
say.
for the duration of the Miggs and Swig show today. Miggs and Swig
Miggs
are
and
out, so it is
Swig.
just JoJo, myself, here on the radio we would love to hear from you. If you have any questions for Kevin, we're gonna talk all about him now. We're done with me. I'm not nearly as fascinating.
That's way more exciting.
I just happened
I don't
to
get dick
have
pics.
this conversation the other day, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. So that was that was enough of me. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. You can always tweet us at Miggs and Swig. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns,
Give us a twit.
yes, please do. We are going to take a quick break. We are going to come back with so much more of Kevin. We're going to start. I feel like I just want to start at the very beginning of your rock star.
Now that you know that I was married to a Scientologist.
Yes, but there's layers that I just want to peel.
Let's peel them. I'm like an onion.
Let's do it. It is the Miggs and Swig Show here on 102.5 The Bone. We'll be right back.
We don't care, no.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, that's a Candlebox song.
You ever heard of those guys? You ever heard of those guys?
I've heard of them once or twice. I love that song.
Let's hear it then.
All of
That voice. The voice in the song is the voice that you're hearing on your radio right now, because Kevin Martin from Candlebox is here with us.
it. Yeah. Right here.
Right here. No Miggs. No, I'll take you every day. Those two drive me crazy. All they do is talk about themselves. Unsolicited. Like they do it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about you today. So that's fine. This is going to be different.
Well, I
They
love
just
talking
talk about
me.
themselves as if people were interested, which is the difference. People are interested in you.
Sometimes.
I am.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose.
Well, I have a feeling that a lot of the Bone listeners that are tuned in right now are listening, and I encourage them to call with questions and
Give us a call.
get all the juicy details from Mr. Martin. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. I do appreciate you being here, though.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I love doing radio.
Well, we'll be here all summer.
I've done it with you guys a couple times, and I've always loved it.
And we were where only our parents listened. So
Yeah.
now there's more people, so hopefully it'll be more engaging for
Well,
you.
your parents' are listening. Your parents' friends are listening now. So
Yeah, well, 6 feet under.
yeah.
So yes, you have been on the show
Don't
before.
discriminate against the dead.
We have talked so many different things, but I feel like we've never really talked about you
About
and
me.
your start in music and the journey that you have been on, which I can only imagine is fascinating and something that a lot of people don't get to experience. And I also I have so many questions. Okay, so I'm going to just stop talking for a second. You started, how old were you?
When I started playing music or in
Yes.
a band? When I started playing music, I was 7.
Okay.
I started playing French horn. I believe I was in 2nd grade, and I started playing French horn, which was hilarious because the case is as big as I was. I don't know what I was attracted to. My entire family's musical. My mother was a singer. My father was a jazz musician. So it's always kind of been, I think, a part of everyone in my family. My sister, my brothers, and myself. The entire family's musical.
Okay.
So I think that my brother Brian was playing saxophone. I was playing French horn. My brother Dennis played drums. My sister played the flute. And then I went into flute and clarinet years later just because I wanted to learn more about music.
Yes.
And then I found drums, and I was like 10 years old, and that was it. And I became a drummer. And
That's what my affinity for you is.
it's the worst.
I know, they are the worst.
Gotta stay away
Drummers are
from
the
drummers.
worst, but
Yeah.
I love them.
That's why I became a singer. So I started playing drums in a punk band when I was 12, and I did that till like I was 18, 19 years old, and a friend called me up.
You were living where?
Well, I had lived quite a bit through the Midwest. I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
My father was a salesman, so we spent a lot of time in the Midwest. Ended up in San Antonio when I was about 9 years old, and moved to Seattle when I was 14, and that was back in 1984.
So you grew up, for the most part,
In the Midwest. Well, in Seattle,
Well,
yes.
I mean, yeah, like those more formative
years.
music years.
Yeah.
Because that was
Well, I think the formative years for me actually were San Antonio, because I really loved punk rock music, and so like the Clash and a lot of that stuff was what I was really attracted to. So, and Texas, you know, for those of you who don't know anything about it, is not just a country state. I mean, there's a really great punk movement that's been going on there since the 70s. So, so I got to see, my first concert was Dead Kennedy's Black Flag and the Butthole Surfers when I was 12 years old. So, I got to see something pretty amazing.
Never heard of them.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I need to take a listen.
Yeah, you won't like them. But, so that's kind of where my musical roots were formed. When I moved to Seattle, the massive wrench was thrown into it, because it was a different type of punk rock. It was this slow, tuned down, loud, heavy, aggressive, angry music.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I found my footing as a musician. So, but the formative years for me musically were really Texas. That was kind of where it grabbed a hold of me and saying, "Oh, this is what I want to do."
So 14, you're in Seattle now, and you're playing drums. Is that what you want to do? You want to be a musician, or it's more of a hobby for you and you enjoy it? Or is this something that you're like, okay?
Yeah, I wanted it.
Okay.
I really, really wanted to be a musician. I mean, you know, I made all the Kiss guitars and stuff and makeup and everything when I was a kid. It was, you know, that rock star lifestyle was something I think that you know, back in the 70s, everybody wanted it, you know, every kid in America.
But it was sacred. It wasn't, you didn't have YouTube.
No.
You didn't have...
You had to go to the concert. You had to buy the record. Yeah.
And you had to work for it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to just make a video and post
I mowed
it.
lawns every summer to make money to buy albums. You know.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
Different world.
You had to earn it. So what was your first kind of like that you could do? I mean, obviously you're talented. You come from a talented family, and you want to start a band. How do you know where to go with that? How do you find people that are like-minded and want the same?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I think it's very much like, you know, people are saying to you, just don't push it and you'll meet the guy you're supposed to meet. I mean, that's what happened with the band.
Okay.
I got a phone call from a friend that was doing a record, and he needed somebody to sing on it. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm a drummer." He said, "No, I've heard you sing." Well, I had sung in choir from second grade all the way to my senior year because I needed an elective, and choir was where all the girls hung out.
Oh.
So, and you know, the cute girls, not band girls. So, so choir was like something that, you know, it was easy for me. My mother's a singer, I could sing, and so when he asked me to sing on him, I was like, okay. And that ended up becoming Candlebox like a year later. So it was just a happy accident, I suppose.
So crazy. Kevin Martin from Candlebox, and just wanting to peel back the layers on you. Okay, so now you sing, they like you, you're good. We form Candlebox.
Yeah. Wasn't that easy?
No, I'm sure it wasn't. But in Seattle, where I feel like, what year would that have been?
1991 is when we became Candlebox.
And
but all eyes were on Seattle. Yeah.
I mean, because everybody was coming from Seattle at that point.
Yeah, it was. I remember moving there, and you know, I was a skateboard kid from Texas, listening to punk rock, and I moved to a city where it rains, you know, 10 months out of the year, so there was no skateboarding. So I had to kind of readjust my my life of how I was going to be doing things. And luckily, the first week of school, I met some friends that said, "We're going downtown to see a band play." And John and Sarah, and they drove me down to the Guerrilla Gardens, and we saw a punk rock show, and then was lucky enough to see Soundgarden when Chris was still playing drums and singing. They were a three-piece, and that was like all within the first 3 months of moving to Seattle. So it was definitely
you got a good taste of
right away.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of I think where I realized, you know, it was going to be a scene that was inevitable. It was very much like you could feel that it was going to be like New York in the 70s. You could feel like it was going to be L.A. in the 70s. There was something there, Athens, Georgia, in the 80s with all the kind of pop, new wave punk bands that were coming out of there. And you could sense that there was something there because every week there was another band and they were good.
Yeah.
And, I was 14, 15 years old, seeing shows that blew my mind. And these were teenagers making these songs. And
What was
and
that
these
like
records.
seeing Chris Cornell? I mean, because coming from Texas, from a totally different kind of musical
Background?
yes, and
Or
exposure.
scene, right.
Yeah. To see somebody like him, I mean, I know what we knew he had become, but in those formative years, was he just as
Always.
Okay.
He was
Where
as
you just
charismatic
get
then as he
sucked in.
was up until a few weeks ago. You could not watch him
right?
either play drums or sing or play guitar. I mean, there was no getting around it. He just had it. He had what Joey Ramone had. He had what Robert Plant had. I mean, he just had it, and
Yeah.
he was 19 years old, 20 years old. Yeah, it was a strange thing. I mean, I often think of the movie Spinal Tap where they, they're talking about the predominantly boys in their audience, and it kind of makes me think of that because that's how those early shows were, except there were the girls who just wanted to go and see Chris sing because he'd take a shirt off, The rest, there was like 5 of them, and the rest was like, 100 sweaty, stinky dudes.
Yeah.
But, it was such a
Good thing you had a love for music and not just getting laid. Because
Yeah.
that would have been disappointing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really life altering, for me, to watch Chris sing, and then of course Lane Staley and Andy Wood was another huge influence on me as a performer and a singer. And these are guys that I was lucky enough to become friends with and get to know. And kind of have some sort of kindred spirit with, at a young age. I was 16 years old and in high school and meeting these guys at shows and parties. And Seattle was very cool back then because you could go to a party at the University of Washington. Some of the houses that were out there were the guys from these bands would hang out and play shows in the basement and whatnot. And if you were cool enough at the age of 15, 16 to come in, you could. And I was fortunate enough to be hanging out with some people that were really cool. They didn't know that I wasn't cool, so I was lucky enough to be in the...
But you look cool, and I feel like you had to have always had this swagger. So I get why people are drawn to you.
Oh, thank you.
There is something about you, and being a lead singer only enhances that, where you feel like everybody, like you're singing or talking directly to me.
The funny thing is I'm the reluctant lead singer. I never wanted this job. I got stuck with it doing those demos. That's the honest God's truth. I never wanted to be a lead singer.
And
Now I am. And I'm still trying to not be a lead singer. But
Yeah.
I can't, no one will hire me to be a drummer.
oh,
I'm a
Don,
good drummer.
Don will. Don loves the
No,
Don
I've
loves being the
offered to
lead
Don.
singer.
I've
That
said, "Don, I'll
lead
play
singer
drums."
limelight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all about himself. Jamie, how are we doing on time? I know that we
This is
have,
Kevin Martin of Candlebox sitting with Joanne Petrella.
Oh yeah, right. I can play a mean skin flute. That's about
Hey,
it, though.
whoa.
Yeah, tambourine.
Tambo?
Yeah. Okay. We do have Michael Kilgore on the phone, and I hope he can hang on. And we're gonna talk to him about a Father's Day event coming up that we want to share with everybody. So if he can sit tight, and then hopefully after the break we can get him on. Before we go to break, I want to make sure that everybody. I know it's raining there, and you're probably not outside in the sun or at the beach as much as you'd like to be, but you still do need to take care of your skin and protect yourself, because even on those cloudy days, your sun is still being targeted, and that's the worst kind. Our friends at South Tampa Dermatology are amazing. They do cancer skin checks, but a plethora of other things: Botox, tattoo removal, laser hair removal. They take care of IPL, facials. They'll treat you real well. And also, if you give them a call, they will give you $50 off Botox for the month of June. Could be a great, I would say, Father's Day gift, but maybe not. I don't know. But I don't think guys in Tampa do it as much as guys in LA
Yeah.
want to get
it's a daily ritual out here,
taken
that's
care
for
of.
sure.
That's okay. South Tampa Dermatology, it's where it's at. They're wonderful people. Make sure you tell them that the Miggs and Swig Show sent you. You can find them at 813-872-9551 or go to stderm.com. We have so much more with Kevin Martin from Candlebox. I have a lot of questions for you. We're just getting started.
We're just peeling away.
The Juice with JoJo will be coming up at the top of the hour, so you don't want to miss it. Stick around. We'll be right back on 102.5 The Bone. I didn't really realize we were back.
Man, we're just talking backstage.
Hello, it's JoJo on your radio on the Miggs and Swig Show. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning. We are live in Los Angeles, and I don't mean Miggs or Swig.
Just Joe and I. We got to get Michael on the phone.
Just myself and the one and only Kevin Martin from Candlebox, who is co-hosting with me today, and just couldn't be more happy to have you to stare at and talk to today. It's lovely. It is lovely. We do have a Mr. Michael Kilgore on the phone. Michael, are you there?
I am here. I feel like I'm intruding on you guys.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. I got a little caught up in Kevin's stories of back in the day. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm actually in Washington. I'm not in Tampa either.
Oh my God, you're up early too then.
Yes.
Sorry.
Washington State?
No, I'm actually in D.C. But
he's not.
Oh, then not that early.
Lazy-
I don't
lazy
feel
son of
bad
a gun.
anymore. Michael, Mr. Michael Kilgore, you are the Chief Marketing Officer for the Columbia Restaurant Group, correct?
That's correct. Where all the
And that
restaurants,
encompasses
all
the Columbia Restaurant, which is one of my favorites, one of the best salads that I've ever had in my entire life. Eulalie, you are with Goody Goody as well, Goody Goody Burgers?
That's correct. Also, Cha Cha Coconuts down in Sarasota, and we just opened a new restaurant at airport, Cafe Con Leche, Ybor City. It's one of our 3 restaurants in the southwest air side, along with Eulalie and Goody Goody.
Oh my God, when do you sleep?
Exactly. I was about to ask that.
Oh
Well,
my God.
Richard Gosmark's our 4th generation owner. He doesn't sleep, so it encourages the rest of us not to sleep quite so much as well.
I'm sure. When did you? Have you always been in the restaurant business? Because I grew up in it with my my grandfather owning them, and now my dad, and working in them. But not everybody's cut out for this business, and yours are successful. I mean, it's hard to maintain success in the restaurant industry, especially nowadays.
Well, you probably know most restaurants who open, close in the first year. It's like 80% or something close in the first year. So it is a tough business. I've not been in very long. I came actually from media, and then I worked in the arts, and I've been with Richard and the team for about 4 years. But for me, marketing is all about telling stories and help and giving information out. So it's really the same kind of job. I just have a different kind of thing that I'm talking about.
Okay, so you didn't technically work in the restaurant business growing up.
Terrible at that. I would be terrible. I tell our servers all the time, I couldn't do what you do. It's an incredibly stressful job. I couldn't do it, but I'm very appreciative of what they do because we couldn't open our doors without them. So everybody, the servers, the cooks, it takes a village.
It sure does, and the restaurants that you are a part of, and the group. I mean, honestly, and growing up, and my dad is a chef, so I'm super picky about when I go out and eat. I do enjoy cooking. I prefer to bake. I'm more of a baker, but I love it, and I can honestly say, Goody Goody, amazing. I can't go there as often as I'd like because I'd be as big as a house. Eulalie is wonderful, and the atmosphere of Eulalie and being able to sit outside and actually enjoy our city is just incredible down there. And like I said, Columbia is just a staple, and by far one of my favorite salads that I've ever been able to enjoy. So it is a very, very good group that you are part of with the Columbia Restaurant Group.
Michael, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
How do you find keeping it fresh with the restaurants that you're running? How do you keep your audience interested? Is it the constant menu changes, or is it, just because historically you guys have been so good that you can rely on that?
Well, that's a really interesting question and a good one. I think our owners really look at a delicate balance of consistency and newness. You can't change too much what you're doing because people come there for certain reasons that are in some cases, we're a 112-year-old restaurant, the original Columbia. So some of those recipes go back really a long time. So you can't change much of that, but you also have to take into account what people want today. Goody Goody is a great example of that. Goody Goody opened originally in 1925, closed in 2005. So we brought it back last year in Hyde Park Village in Tampa. We had to look at everything new. We looked at all the recipes, and one example, I guess, is the butterscotch pie. It's a big favorite.
What?
And it's our best-selling pie.
Yes.
But the original recipe, you can't get some of those ingredients anymore, and it was too sweet for a lot of modern tastes.
Sure.
It's really too sweet. It's still pretty sweet, but it was a little too sweet. So we had to modify the recipe a little. We were pretty upfront about it. So, we had to change it a little bit.
Sure.
So it's that balance of changing the menu out. I think we're Ukulele. I think it's on its third menu, and we opened August 26th of 2014. So it's the third menu that we're doing. We also do specials. That's the other way to keep things fresh, is those daily specials. And then you're able to try something out, and if it works well, it may end up on the menu. The grouper was just on the lunch menu, and it was so popular it's now on the dinner menu at Ukulele as well.
Oh, wow.
And here's the thing about Ukulele. I love to tell this because I've heard this so many times. Is if you know Tampa Heights has gone through kind of some rough years, and when people come to Ukulele, I've heard this so many times that this doesn't look like Tampa. This doesn't.
No, that's what
like
I'm saying.
Tampa.
Being able to sit outside, it's so gorgeous down there. We don't
and
really.
My answer always is, this is what Tampa looks like now. This is what Tampa feels like now, because it is. It's reality, and you're right. It's on the river, and it's part of what the mayor is doing to sort of turn us back toward the Hillsborough River. For such a long time, the city turned us back on the river, and now we've got this beautiful river walk and the Hillsborough River. And all these restaurants, and other things that are popping up. The Riverwalk is completed. Ferguson Park is beautiful. There's so many things happening that you see all these people using the Riverwalk, which is actually the location for our Father's Day walk and jog coming up next weekend.
Yes, that was the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. We have Michael Kilgore from the Columbia Restaurant Group on the line with us, and this will be on Father's Day, yes, June 18th?
Yes, that's correct. It's packet pickup, and on-site registration is at 7. Our event really starts at 8, and I call it an event because people get a little freaked out if they get run or you can walk this. The real key is to come out and raise money for prostate cancer and the Moffitt Cancer Center.
And you donate 100% of the proceeds.
That's correct. We do things a little different. We pay 100% of the costs. We donate 100% of the revenues. So this is our fourth annual. The first year we donated $80,000. The second year is $85,000. The third year was $80,000. I think this year, I should be committed probably, but I think we'll do better than any of the previous years. That's $245,000 in 3 years going to Moffitt. And Moffitt's, I know that you did some Miles from Moffitt promotions and there at the Bone, and you do charity work with Apple a Day. So it's really part of what we do as a restaurant group. It's about giving back to the communities that have supported us so much. And Richard Gosman and I toured Moffitt Cancer Center maybe 5 years ago, and we met a young researcher there, and she said something that I will never forget. She said, every day I wake up and I think today's the day I will find a cure for cancer.
Right.
So how can we not? How can we not do everything that we can when she's doing that? So this is it's a 5K or a 1 mile, or you can do your own distance. There's, we say there's no timing chip, there's no medal, there's no sweat. You just come out.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not about that. It's about the awareness, and I think doing it on Father's Day is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think especially the fact that I would say that probably 90%, excuse me, of the listeners out there that are male, excuse me, are going to be affected by some sort of cancer at some point in this day and age. So,
the stats are pretty sobering. 1 in 6 men will get prostate cancer. If you're African American or Hispanic, it's 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the second leading cause of death in men behind heart disease.
Yeah, so if you think you're sitting out there and it's not going to affect you, it probably is going to, so get out there and walk.
Yeah. It's $25 in advance, $30 a day of, and you get a dry fit shirt. We also have food from Goody Goody Eulalie and the Columbia afterwards, so that you can start
this
your
next
Father's
Sunday?
Day off right.
I got to book my flight.
I know, June 18th. Where can we tell everybody to go and sign up? Do they need to sign up? Is it better to do it that way?
You can do day of, just because we want to make sure we have enough food for everybody. We want to make sure we have enough shirts. So if you go to richardsrunforlife.org.
richardsrunforlife.org. Okay.
No apostrophe. It has the information there, and also a link to sign up on active.com. And we'll have probably 400, 500, maybe 450 runners this year. But our sponsorships are already over anything we've done the previous year. So I think this will be our most successful year. And we said the other thing we want to do is have a healthy, fun thing for families to do on Father's Day. So it gets everybody up early and gets a good start, and then you have the rest of the day. But you have the satisfaction and that you've accomplished something, that you've done something good for somebody else, and now you spend the rest of the day taking care of Dad.
I love it. I'm sad to be out of town and having to miss it, but I'm going to bet that you have more than 500 that are in attendance. At least I hope that you do, because I think it's such a wonderful, important cause. And again, you're providing food from 3 of Tampa's greatest restaurants. So that in and of itself would motivate me to walk a few miles, to know that would be at the finish line for me, that I would be able to participate and in something good, and then be able to enjoy Goody Goody, the Columbia restaurant, and Eulalie food.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your time. Hey, I heard you were doing a golf tournament. Would you be interested in us providing a gift card to Eulalie as some sort of incentive for some of your folks?
I would be more than appreciative of that. Yes, 100%. I'll email you with Mr. Mike Olivero so we can set that up, and they can pick that up from you. That's very, very kind and generous of you. Thank you.
We're happy to do it.
Mr. Michael Kilgore from the Columbia Restaurant Group. June 18th starts at 8 a.m., but you want to get there a little bit early, get your packet at Eulalie, right? That's where we start, is at Eulalie?
Starts at Eulalie and goes down the Riverwalk. We do the entire 3.1 miles. It'll go down to USF Park, and with a turnaround. We'll have a water stop on the way, and again, we'll have lots of food back at the finish and water on the way. So
it's amazing. You can go to richardsrunforlife.org and sign up and find out all the information and do your part to help raise. Oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Raise money, there it is, from Moffitt Cancer Center's Advanced Prostate Cancer Collaboration. Mr. Kilgore, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you
Michael.
too.
Bye now.
Mr. Michael Kilgore, just like that. We are still here. This is the Miggs and Swig show. Sorry, I was trying to get my train of thought to segue to you. Mr. Kevin Martin from Candlebox is here co-hosting with me today while Miggs and Swig are away, and I couldn't be happier about all of that. It is JoJo here. We are going to get juicy coming up in a little bit. Before we do, I know I want to talk to you about your first marriage, which, I didn't know that you had. But now
Like
I'm
to keep that a
fascinated
secret.
because, well, and maybe there's a good reason. And if you want me to shut up, you can just
No,
tell
no.
me to do so.
No.
But you had mentioned Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
And this fascinates me. And I was actually just speaking with Lisa, Dawn's wife, because I hadn't seen the Leah Remini on A&E.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it right now. I'm blanking on it. But she discussed her time and departure in the Scientology community. And have you seen that? Do you know about it? I just want we don't have to talk too much about it, but it's kind of fascinating to me.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah, it's an interesting religion, if that's, what you want to call it. I did watch the other one that was on HBO. I can't remember what it was called either. It was like last year. For me, growing up in Seattle, I never saw I maybe saw the Dianetics bookstore or something.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about it, so I'd come to Los Angeles to make a video for the song "You" on the first record, and I met this girl Renee at one of the parties, and she happened to work for the label. She worked for Freddie DeMann, who was the president and owner of Maverick Records. I was also Madonna's manager and Lionel Richie's manager, and Renee was kind of his day-to-day person. We met at a party, and we started talking, and I think we started dating shortly after, because I moved to Los Angeles, and about 2 years into our relationship, we moved to Seattle, and she got fired from Maverick because she was dating a musician and that was signed to the label, and that never goes right, and so we moved to Seattle, and all of a sudden my business manager called me and said, "What are these classes you're paying for, and why is this costing so much money?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And so I had to ask her, and that's kind of how it came out. But I think for her it was it saved her life. And in a sense, she was from San Francisco. She was a twin of 10 kids, and had a pretty rough upbringing, and found, I think, Scientology when she was like 20 years old, and it got her out of the spiral she was in. So I guess it can help that way. It's just when you start using my money to pay for it, I have a problem with it,
Holy cannoli.
Yeah.
Were you exposed to the community at all?
Yeah, she tried to get me to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the first, you hold the cans and talk and all that sort of stuff, just because she asked me to. And
I don't even know what that means.
You hold these cans and they ask you questions and they say, "Thank you, you're clear." And it's
What kind of cans?
They're like tin cans attached to this machine. It's the whole thing. See, the thing that's really interesting to me is that they say psychology kills, right? They have this, I don't know, mantra that, their way is the only way, which religion is generally like that, organized religion. And I know that you guys don't tend to get very political about stuff, but organized religion, I find, tends to be our way's the right way. And we see what's happening with that in the world, with religions that think that their way's the right way and everybody else is wrong, and our God's the one that's right and your God's the dumb one, and Scientology has a sense of that when it comes to that type of psychology kills people, but use ours and pay us X amount of dollars and we'll heal you by holding these cans, which is kind of silly. So I did the whole thing where they ask you questions and you respond to it, and this needle moves if you clear, and then end of a month, I was like, "You guys are absolutely out of your minds. This is psychology. It's the same thing. You're asking me questions.
Correct.
You're getting me to respond to those questions. You're asking me to tell you about me, my feelings, my emotions, and then you take my money. That's psychiatry. That's psychology. It's the same thing." So
just in a different environment.
Exactly. I went back and I told my ex, "You're out of your mind, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, but I'm not going to be part of it." And it ended up breaking us apart. It ended up really kind of affecting our relationship, and we got divorced about 4 years after we.
Well, I don't want to say that I'm glad that happened, but I'm glad that happened because I love your wife.
Yes, Natalie's amazing. I think she's listening right now.
Hi, Natalie. We're going to talk about you, too, and all the good things that you're doing, and how your husband is now working for you.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break on the Miggs and Swig Show, and we're going to come back. We're going to maybe have a special caller stop by and say hi, so you're not going to want to miss that. We have the juice with JoJo. We have much more with Kevin Martin from Candlebox. If you would like to call and ask him anything about anything, he's a pretty smart guy, even outside of of all the music and the rock star life. But he is ready and willing. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. You can always tweet us at Miggs and Swig. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Miggs and Swig Show.
Across a young man's room.
All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get this show on the road.
Life out loud.
Oh, yes, we're back. We are back. Coming at you live from Los Angeles. It is JoJo here on your radio this Saturday after. Nope, it's still morning.
Yeah,
Sorry.
still morning.
It's really morning here. With my fantastic co-host, who I'm pretty sure is going to take over for Don and Ben, which excites me. It is Kevin Martin, the one and only.
The one and only. Now, there's a lot of Kevin Martins,
You
actually.
have great hair.
Thank you very much.
You have great hair. And do you dye your hair?
No.
Okay. So how do you have so much lovely, oh God, because your beard is gray.
I know.
Ish.
My what? This hair on my face is gray?
A little bit.
It's not a beard. I'd give anything
Goat.
for a beard. You know what? Stop inventing stuff for hair growth on the head. How about face growth?
That would be weird.
I
It'd be like
really-
a chia pet.
I want that. I've
You
wanted
do?
a beard for, like, my guitar player Brian has the most amazing. It's Viking.
I mean, I love a good beard. Don't get me
Viking.
wrong.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody here in Los Angeles that can do that for you.
Plugs.
Take it from the back of your head and just put it on your face.
No,
would
that's
be-
eyelashes.
Be weird.
Yeah. No.
There's something
yes.
for everything, and I feel
I
like
think
this
there's
is the
somebody
city.
on the phone that might have a really good beard.
He can have it, but then he looks like he's from.
Careful.
Yep.
Where? Tampa?
Hi there. Do you miss me, Ben Swig?
Everybody loves the hooky loud. Where the mama meets the cow go out the big luau.
Wait, you're in Hawaii, bro.
Out into the sea.
Oh my
Hi, guys.
God. Hi, Swiggy. Are you
So
getting
I
ready
just
for
had to call
takeoff?
in. I headed to the airport now, but I just had to call in. I had to break up the momentum you guys have going on over there. 'Cause it's
Oh, the momentum,
way too
yeah.
good radio.
Wait, so
It's-
you're not in
I mean,
I
Hawaii
mean, it has
yet?
nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with Kevin Martin.
Haven't. I mean, it's like my job is threatened, so I had to call in to suck it down a little bit.
Get out of
Bring the
town,
whole
bro.
level of the show down just a little bit.
Mission accomplished.
Back to our normal stuff.
Hey, Swig.
Yeah,
You went and saw Hamilton last night.
I did. I went to go see Hamilton, way off Broadway in San Francisco. But it was an amazing show and worth all the hype. Even my wife, who I don't know is necessarily a musical freak, but and it was rather late for her, was just on the edge of her seat the whole time. It's an amazing story, and the way it's told, obviously through relatively majority black cast playing white founding fathers is just amazing deal.
I was surprised that you went to a musical. I know that you're, obviously history is your jam and you're very into that. So I wasn't surprised at that. I was surprised that it was a musical, but I was way more surprised that you went on the night where the Golden State Warriors were playing a very crucial Game 4 against the Cleveland
closeout
Cavaliers.
Yeah, well,
Huh?
let me tell you, and I'm gonna be honest with you, but I don't want you to tell anybody, okay?
Okay, promise.
JoJo and Kevin, I
Don't tell anybody.
Okay, we got that pat.
Yeah.
When I bought the tickets, I didn't really look at the playoff schedule,
Oh.
so I didn't know that it was Game 4 last night. But
That's right. You didn't miss
my
anything.
wife didn't know that. Right, exactly. It was a blowout. I mean, I was going to tape the game and watch it when I got home. And during intermission, the guy in front of me said something like, "Well, at least we're up 2 games." So I kind of got the secret before it was out. But
wait a minute, you didn't have your phone in like under your legs in your seat. You were not watching the game at all.
JoJo, I'm bad. I'm bad, and I'm a pig, and I'm a dick, but not at a musical. I mean, come on. Maybe if I was at Kevin's concert, I would have.
Oh no,
yeah, that's cool.
No, that's not where you watch
we
it.
love that.
I'm impressed.
But, no, I didn't. Anyways, it was something that was not planned. Obviously, I would not have played the game to go to the. But I did get the credit for it. Don't get me wrong. I said, "See, honey, see how much I love you. I'm going to take you to a musical on a closeout game of the Warriors."
Wait, was it a musical that she wanted to go to, or the one that you wanted to go to?
Exactly.
I wanted to go to it.
Exactly, Kevin. Exactly.
You really don't love her.
No.
No. So the funny thing is, my friend has been in the musical or into the CD for a while, and he's been listening to it. And he went to Chicago to go see it. And I've actually been listening to that CD for about 2 months now. So I knew all, most of the lyrics and stuff, and it's impressive. It's an impressive a soundtrack and all the influences of hip hop that they have on it. And it's a little different live, I have to say, than it was, on the soundtrack, because obviously, Kevin, as you know, live is different than produced in the studio, music, and they're dancing, so they're a little out of breath. Where in the studio they're not dancing around, but highly.
Well, they're not on Pro Tools like Britney and Beyonce.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, auto tune. But yeah, it was amazing. But I just want to call in. Don't want to keep you guys. I gotta, medicate.
You wanted to make sure the show sucked just a little bit today.
Exactly. I had to dumb it down a little bit. Had to break up the momentum a little bit. And,
well, look at it this way. You can actually vacation for the next 3 months if you'd like, and
pretty much
I think we got this.
And you got to. Oh,
I like this.
Yeah. Well,
he's like, no, wait.
Well, I think we should. I think we should have a co-hosting off, because on the 24th, Ben, you'll be here in LA with us. Yes.
I will. I'll be live in the studio, and then I think hopefully we'll be able to do the show from Montana, and then I'll call in once in a while when I have good internet when I hit the road with Cletus.
Well, we'll maybe on the 24th see if Kevin's schedule allows for him to come back and hang out with us so we can all be together, and maybe see what the listeners really want.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, you want to throw a poll up there? No, let's
see who they want to swap out. I would never want to do that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys go. I gotta,
All right. Safe travels to Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah. I got that.
See you, bud.
Sometimes I think he thinks I'm stupider than I look.
Wait, what?
Huh? Ben Swig. He's a piece of work.
Flying out of San Francisco to Hawaii. What a gig.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do radio?
He doesn't. That's why he's going to Hawaii.
Cool.
Yeah, and then he's not here. He's not flying to Los Angeles.
There we go.
He could have stopped. He could have come here and been here this morning and then left from Los Angeles to go to Hawaii.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm looking at my
So clearly his priorities are the ones that aren't in check.
Mm-hmm.
But mine are. Jamie, how am I looking on time? Should we get a little juice in before we have to take a commercial break?
And now,
talking about the juice
with JoJo.
Rolling down the screen, searching headlines, talking about the juice.
Here's JoJo.
Okay, so last week, Kevin, we went to see, and it's funny because you talking about your formative years growing up in Texas for as far as music goes, and just how it's all relative in the era and the decade or whatever it is, and the city that you live in, and that's what you gravitate toward. And obviously for me, I'm a little bit younger than you, and I grew up when it was all like boy bands and all that not so great but so great in an awful way kind of music that I love. And so last Friday we went to see Boys to Men.
Yeah.
And the New Kids on the Block with my former employer, Paula Abdul. And
how's she doing?
I mean,
hi, Cha-Cha.
Well, maybe a little bit, but I hadn't seen her in like 10 years.
Wow.
So it was.
Oh, because she performed.
She's
Yeah.
one of the opening acts for the New Kids, and so I had seen her when we were first walking in, and she kind of looked at me like I feel like I know. That's the one thing about her is as spaced out as she is, and again, I've always said this. I never saw her drink or anything like that, but. It's different doctors for different ailments prescribing all the different medications.
Sure.
And it just is a not great cocktail for her in her little body. She is so little, by the way. I was like a giant. I had heels on, like, big shoes, and you have to like be on my knees to talk to her. Aside from just being on my knees. So I see her.
How
she
come
looks.
you don't have anybody you're dating? I'm confused. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway. There's a lot of reasons. I'm sure. Nobody will tell me what they are, so I can't fix them.
Okay.
But
So
then
Paula.
anyway, we were in the back saying hi. We are friends with the boys and Boys to Men, and so we stopped to see them. And she was walking through and kind of like looking, and I didn't want to interrupt her, but we kept making eyes. And she was like, just kind of looked at me. I'm like, I know it's. Joanne, whatever. And she was like, oh my God, like, yes. Now, mind you, I was like 50 pounds heavier when I worked for her.
Wow.
So it was a little bit different. And that's why I wasn't sure if she remember. But the one thing about her, she's a smart woman. She remembers everything and everyone. So like, that was one thing when I worked for her that I learned and now continue to do is, listen, if I mess up, I own up to it because she knew. You know what I mean? She would remember what she told me, so I couldn't try to play things off with her. One time I did, and she was like, no, you didn't say that. You said this, and I was like, oh, yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Like, so now I just own up to it. But anyway, it was really good to see her. But from knowing the guys and whatever, when we were on our way to the Hollywood Bowl, which, by the way, I loved that venue.
Yeah.
Has Candlebox played there? Have you played there?
Oh, my God. I wish.
Oh.
No. We've never played that.
You should. You could.
No.
Okay, you don't want to.
No, I don't. We never could.
Let's start a band.
Okay.
Okay. I want to play there. I can't do much, but
I think you just did.
I can. Anyway, so a friend of mine that I had made over the years is a bass player for the New Kids on the Block. So I had sent him a text to say hi. Whatever, we're in town. Would love to see you.
Right.
He writes back and says, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not there. I had an emergency. Couldn't make it today. You'll enjoy the show. Have fun. Whatever. Talk to you soon. I'm like, oh, no. Is everything okay? Never heard back from him. The next morning, I am online talking to my friends at TMZ, and I see where the bass player for Lionel Richie had an episode with some edibles and ended up stabbing himself.
What? That was that guy?
That was that guy. It was my friend Ethan. I'm reading it because he also, when he's not with New Kids, he's with Lionel.
Wow. Oh my God.
So he had an episode where he ate a bad batch
tripped
of
out.
oh my God, and stabbed himself.
Is he okay?
Yes, I mean he's fine, but it was just so weird. He answered me. It was like, yeah, no, I had an emergency.
Sorry.
I'm not going to be able to make the show tonight, but hey, you have a good time.
I'm totally tripping, bleeding all over myself.
I was
I'll be
like,
fine.
are you okay? No wonder he wasn't there performing because he was the bass player that stabbed himself.
Oh my God. I remember I saw that the other day and I was
Oh my
like,
God, I was
poor guy.
dying. Dying.
I mean, listen, I've never gotten that out of it on edibles, so I don't know how that's even possible, but I hope he's okay. That's crazy.
He is okay, but I mean, and that also goes to show, like, you don't know what you should probably know who is making you something or selling you something or not that I am an advocate of doing drugs at all, but I'm just saying you should know where it's coming from if that is the path you choose to go down.
Certainly.
Another path I hope you go down is sticking around because we are going to go to commercial. I do have more juice. I have so much more with Kevin Martin that I want to talk about from Candlebox. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns, 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Miggs and Swig on 1025 The Bode.
Take the slow ride with you.
wrote this song about my old man. Lucy record. There we are.
Your singing voice, I feel like, doesn't match your speaking voice.
No, a lot of people say that.
How?
I don't know. I guess
Your register is higher.
Well, I sing in I guess maybe for me, my speaking voice is more of the. I have a lot more rasp in it, and I because my vocal cords are destroyed. So when I sing, I jump above that in that register because it's easier for me to control my voice. So if I can stay with outside of my mid register, my mid range, I have more control.
Kevin Martin from Candlebox.
The weird things you learn being a
I
singer.
love it. I love it. You're far more exciting. For people listening, that I mean, I know you, and I'm still fascinated by you, and you're interested.
That's so
in.
Weird.
I know it is weird.
It's weird, man. I'm just me.
I know, but you don't understand what being, and listen, I didn't listen to a lot of
Sure.
How you are you
The 90s rock?
Okay. So it's not like a
We're not a grunge band.
Okay. Do you like grunge bands?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We're a blues-based rock. I mean, you can listen there. We're a blues-based rock band. Like, that's a whole blues movement.
But so I didn't, and I listened to a lot of different music, and that was one thing with my parents, I mean, a lot of 80s, but all genres. But we were allowed, like I was allowed to watch MTV when it was music television.
Yeah.
And experience the world outside of Youngstown, Ohio. Like my parents were very open, and we had a great communicative relationship about, different things. And so I listened to you growing up. So it's weird to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you and be friends.
Right.
And I'm still learning all these things about you.
Well, yeah, I'm a fascinating person.
You really are.
I really am.
Aside from being good looking, you're very intelligent. You're very talented. I feel like a lot of people don't give respect to musicians. I really don't in that capacity. I think people only see the little bit of who they are when they're on stage.
Well, yeah, it's funny. Like, you don't see a lot of musicians on, like, say, the Bill Maher show or CNN or anything like that. And when you do, it's generally a country western musician that's kind of spouting off about Republicans and how great they are and stuff. So, but we decided we weren't going to talk politics. But
well, no, we can. Because I mean, there was a lot of things that happened this week. So we could like touch that. I just feel like I don't know enough.
Right.
And I really don't think anybody knows enough, because nobody really knows.
Well, if we did, we'd be in office. We wouldn't be here.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me to sit, of course I have opinions on things.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a big week as far as.
No, I don't want to talk politics.
Well, let's go.
No, I don't want to talk.
Let's talk Bill Maher.
I did want to talk about Bill Maher last night, and
we talked about him. Yeah, because we talked about him a little bit last week for him using the N-word. Mm-hmm. Maybe more the context in which he used it, as far as a house N-word. What it was concerned, I think, kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But he did come out and apologize.
And then Ice Cube got on there and kind of let him have it. But I think he let everybody have it. And it was interesting, his perspective. Ice Cube. You can look at his career as a musician, and you look at him, and he he's playing a happy guy in a kid's movie, and then the other one he's Friday, and then and the Friday After Next. I mean, what an interesting person. I remember the first time I heard the NWA record, I was absolutely floored by it. But a very I guess the word interesting character, Ice Cube. And I think last night we saw the real layer of him.
Yes.
And I found what he said about that's our word. and we took it back, and you can't have it back, you know, and it's ours now. I've been very offended over the past couple years with what's been going on with race, and I made a post the other day. I was like, if you have any hate in your heart, or you feel as though there is a separation of race, I don't want you listening to my music. Just burn it or throw it away, because it's not who I am, and it's not what I want to surround myself with. I was never raised with any type of opinion of separation of race.
Same.
Black, white, yellow, brown,
Same.
green, any of it. So it's been very, very disheartening over the past few years to see what's happening with society. So last night, and I understood Bill's perspective as a comedian. You know, he thought he was being funny. It wasn't premeditated.
Correct.
It was a simple off the cuff answer. And of course, that's what we expect of our comedians. You see, you know, not to compare it, but you know, Jerry Seinfeld the other day, Kesha tried to hug him. He's like, no, thank you, no, thank you.
Yeah,
he was very quick with it because that's just kind of what comedians are. That's who they are. They are that responsive, that reactive. And I think to Bill Maher, you know, obviously made a huge mistake. And I think he apologized the best he could. He looked very uncomfortable.
Yes.
He looked, but I think he understood the responsibility that he had in saying it, and I really respected Ice Cube's opinion about it, and I thought that he was gracious in going on the show and not beating the living daylights out of Bill Maher, because he could have, you know, he could have, and I don't mean that physically, I mean literally, you know, verbally beat the living daylights out of him. But I think, you know, he made his point, and I just wish that that this society we're living in this great country of ours would just stop looking at color. You know, I know it's not going to happen.
I know, and it's crazy because I don't know. I just don't ever. I like you. I wasn't raised that way, so it baffles me that we're still in a day and age where that's even a thing.
Right.
I don't get it. If I meet somebody, I don't know. It's the same as if you're blonde or, you know, you're shorter, if you're taller, I'm as far as descriptive, if I'm telling a story, yes, but other than that, like I don't even I don't know, it doesn't matter, but I mean, now you're saying about the off the cuff thing. What about Kathy Griffin?
Well, that's, I mean, you just don't
as
do
a
that.
Comedian.
You don't do that with a sitting president. It's different if you're doing it in a sense where.
Oh, he wasn't sitting; he was beheaded.
No, you know what I'm saying. But you know, I mean, again. She understood. She went past. You know, she crossed the line. But everybody's crossing lines now. I mean, you know, the emoji situation is another example. You know, of color, and we're seeing it in emojis. I mean, right now, if I want to post something, I can pick a yellow, brown, tan, white, black thumb.
I use the black ones.
You know,
and people have a problem with that.
But I'm saying it's a color situation.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, again, it's here. So where do we stop? Where do we stop this cycle? I don't know. Kathy Griffin made a huge mistake, and I think that people are making mistakes every single day.
But why so why? Because he's a sitting president. There's no. If he wasn't a sitting president, it would have been fine.
Sure.
Why?
Because he's not in office now. You can't. That's considered a threat in a sort of way, even though it's comedic. It's considered a threat because it's a beheading. It's the end of, like earlier, I can't say. I got to say a D-pick.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't use specific terms. You can't do specific things, and everyone knows that. If you're doing an art installation anonymously and you want to do it, it's still unacceptable. You know, it's just something you don't do when that person is the most powerful. I don't agree with him at all. I did not vote for him.
Yeah.
This is, you know, but he is the president of the United States.
Of course.
Right? And as a society, we have to respect that. Do we do we march and raise awareness of who he is and what he's done? Absolutely. As a society, you can go out there and say, I do not agree with this person and what he's done and what he said. And, it's not locker room talk. It's who he is. But that's, again, my opinion. But I'm not going to go and hold a beheaded image of him for a picture to make a statement. That's just not how you do it.
Okay.
In my opinion. And I think that, Kathy obviously feels terrible about the decision she made.
And that's where my problem comes in, because I feel like that going into the meeting with this photographer, whether it's his idea or your idea or it's a collaborative effort and you agree to it and you go, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into hair and makeup. You get the head ready and all that, and I mean, this is just going to be, and then you're going to turn around and woe is me, and I'm the victim. Stand by that.
Right.
Stand by that photograph.
Right.
And what your reasoning was for wanting to be a part of it and take that picture.
Right. But I don't, I don't think, what she did is not right. But I don't think she should have lost her job over it. I don't think. Unfortunately, because of the kind of job she has, that's what's going to happen. She made a mistake, but again, I said people make mistakes every single day. It happens all the time.
Yes.
We're human. That's who we are. We were given free will. If you believe in God, that's what you were given. You were going to do things wrong.
You have choices.
You have choices. You're going to make a mistake, and if you want to stand beside your mistake or behind it and own it, then do it. But do know you have to apologize for something that offends people. If you are in the public eye, you have to. You have to be able to apologize for it at some point. And that was very offensive.
Well, but that's what I liked about Stephen Colbert when he went on his tirade in regard to the president.
Holster.
He apologized for upsetting people, but not for what he said.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm good with, I wanted to take this picture and this is what whatever your reasoning was, I'm sorry it upset you and you felt it was offensive, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
But if that's who you are, be who you are.
That's
we should be allowed to be who we are.
Yeah. You have to be prepared to apologize for offending somebody. But that doesn't mean that you can't own what you did. And I've done that on several occasions, and with songs. I've had people tell me that I'm burning all your music right now because that song offends me. And I'm like, well, that's too bad for you because I got your money regardless. And if you can't accept that it's just my opinion musically, that's unfortunate because as a society, again, we said we all opinions are like a-holes.
Yep.
We all have one, and they all stink. So.
Yep.
But we like to spout them out all day long, and that's why, another example, why you're on radio. You're here because you like to talk about things, you like to press buttons, you like to offer stories. We got some more juice coming. That's life. That's life. That's why we do what we do. And if you're not upsetting somebody or offending somebody, you're not doing your job as an artist.
Wise words from Kevin Martin of Candlebox. Sadly, our time is almost coming to an end. We have one more break to take on the Miggs and Swig show, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up on this Saturday morning. We appreciate you joining us. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. We're going to have a little bit of fun left with Kevin when we come back right here on 1025 The Bone.
In a long time.
I love it. Thank you for joining me for the final segment here on the Miggs and Swig Show. It is JoJo with my co-host who far outshined me, Mr. Kevin Martin.
Thank you.
From Candlebox.
It's a pleasure to have been with you this morning. Thank you.
Listen, it is all of my pleasure. I didn't have to deal with Dawn and Ben today.
You didn't talk about my wife, so she's probably going to be upset.
No. Listen.
I tried, Natalie. I tried.
I am not done with the show yet. I want to acknowledge we were just online seeing that Adam West
Has passed away.
TV's Batman, 88. That's a good life, though.
Good life.
He
Very
did
good
pass
life.
away, and this week I was also sad to see that Glenn Headley, Headey, passed away at 63, who was in one of my favorite movies, Mr. Holland's Opus.
Oh, the best.
I am obsessed with that movie.
She's an amazing actress.
So good in so many things, but yes, so that was also sad. I want to make sure to remind you all that Clean Juice Carrollwood is where it's at. Their cold pressed juices are pressed on site. They are the first USDA certified organic juice bar in the Tampa Bay area. We are very lucky to have them. They are fresh. They are made to order. They have smoothies, protein smoothies, acai bowls. They are open 7 days a week, so there's no excuse for you not to go in and try them out. They are the first Florida location. They're in the heart of Carrollwood at 13138 North Dale Mabry Highway. That's in the Carrollwood Village Shopping Center. They're amazing. Make sure you tell them that Miggs and Swig sent you. They will hook you up, take care of you. Healthy in body, strong in spirit. Clean Juice Carrollwood. I love Clean Juice.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's the best.
How do you maintain your svelte figure?
What?
I'm staring at you.
Lots of whiskey.
Oh, that's the trick.
That pressed juice, the other pressed juice.
That works.
Yeah.
Just the same.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
So many of them now.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But this one, that's what I like about they are, everything is organic, everything is, so you know exactly what you're getting when you order it.
It's really good for you.
It is good for you. It's not, I think, I tried to do a juice cleanse, right? Yeah. I don't know why. First of all, I felt worse when I was done.
Yeah.
I was bloated. It was, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, it was like for 3 days or 5 days or something stupid. So I won't ever do that again. But to consume juices on a regular basis, in addition to eating healthy, is what I'm working on. I'm not there yet. But one thing that always makes me feel good, and I'm not just saying this, but honest to God, I don't know how your wife designs and makes the clothes that she does, but no matter what I put on my body, on my worst day, feel amazing.
Of hers.
On my best day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a knockout. I'm not. But I feel that way in her clothes.
Yeah.
Every body type. But I feel like you could put on a shirt, a top of, like, and rock. I don't know. There's something about Natalie Martin collection, which is just phenomenal.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's it's all Balinese silks. She does do rayon as well, but it's a lightweight rayon. They have I think the Indonesians and even China, the silks. There's something very special about maybe the weather or the temperature or how. But it's ridiculous. My wife's clothing, and I just started working with her. I'm taking over operations for her, and I started in April. And this week she was in New York showing her Resort 18 line, and Maggie and I were the only ones at the office this week. And I actually got to spend 5 days with her clothes, doing inventory and going through stuff, and really realized how amazing it is, and what a great creation she has. I don't even know what the word is. That the collection, the line, how creative it is, how beautiful it is, how great it feels.
It does. It really makes you feel, and I don't know. I don't know what the word is. It's sexy, but it's like not like an such an understated, like casual, comfortable, like. I don't love going to the beach and being in a bathing suit in front of people. But if I've got a little something of Natalie Martin, like, you know what I mean, that I can wear over top or just throw on, I feel good about myself in her clothes. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing.
And it looks, I swear to God, every picture that someone posts on Instagram wearing her stuff, that's how they look.
Everybody.
You look fantastic in it. And it's crazy to me that there aren't more designers out there that do what my wife's doing. There are several that have done the caftans or the
right.
The kimonos or the throws or the wraps, but there's something about my wife's designs and how she's put them together that, I don't know, they're just magical and they look great on everybody. And
they are so flattering.
And I'm really enjoying actually having a job. I haven't had a job since I was 18, so it's been weird.
Well, so that's what I wanted to ask you. Going from such a almost spinster kind of go with the flow and traveling and being all over.
Vagabond.
Yes, this vagabond life to now having to be kind of, I mean, I know you still travel for
shows,
but to have a job.
A day to day.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's crazy. I mean, I'm
and
a
working
very
for your wife, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep reminding myself of that, that she's the boss. I think the thing for me is I'm a A-type personality. I'm very some people would call me OCD because I'm constantly organizing, cleaning. Our house is very organized, very clean. Our housekeeper's constantly like, "Thank you for keeping the house clean. I don't have a job," but that's who I am.
Yes.
So for me, it seems like an obvious to go and take a job like this where I'm in charge of the operations, making sure that the quality control is the way it is, that the silks are in when they're in, when the orders are done, and they're delivered on specific times, and you have all these dates. It seemed like the obvious, and I know my wife needed somebody to come in to do that, and that's not an easy job to fill. Idiosyncrasies are something that in the fashion world I'm learning are crazy. I mean, there are some idiosyncrasies out there that people have that are, I don't even get. I mean, I thought I was crazy sometimes. I mean, it's nuts, the stuff that you hear that people say, the way that they act, how they do things, and so yeah, it's been really interesting and eye-opening. So for her to go and hire somebody that maybe is a total weirdo,
yes,
to come into her company and try and turn it around, for just to organize the operations of it, I think scared her. So I was like, hey, you know what? I would really like to be a part of that. I would like to, learn more about what you do, how hard you work. I mean, 5 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. every day is my wife's job.
Yes.
And she flies to Bali 2-3 times a year. And yeah, that sounds glamorous, but it's a 24-hour flight. And then when she gets to Bali, it's 900 degrees and 10,000% humidity. And it's 5 days of back and forth between Ubud and Denpasar and Seminyak and all these places that, this is a third world country. It may be expensive in some parts, but there are other parts that there are cows and cats and dogs and chickens and stuff in the middle of the road, and you have to wait for them to cross the road. So it is. It's not as glamorous as some people think. Very similar to being in a rock and roll band and touring.
I was just gonna say
2 hours on stage is all glam. The other 22 hours,
yep,
sucks sometimes. So yeah, I'm learning a lot about how brilliant my wife is and how incredibly creative and talented and she did this all on her own.
Is it NM Collection or is it Natalie Martin Collection?
Natalie Martin Collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
.com, where you can find all the amazing. I'm serious when I say that, guys, to get it for the girls in your life or your sisters or your to make them feel good about themselves, especially since it's summertime. It's lightweight material. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nothing that I have of hers ever wrinkles, so I can literally throw it in a bag.
And you can throw it on. Women, when we're at the beach, we see them. They get out of the water, they throw it right on. Because it's silk,
and
it
I'll
dries
go
so quickly.
right from being there to going out to dinner.
Yep.
Bring a change of shoes. It's so versatile. I swear to God, it makes you feel so good about yourself. So NatalieMartinCollection.com. Will you continue making music? Will you tour? Will you get back out there?
I don't know if I'll tour. Not per se, for a couple years. Next year's the 25th anniversary of our first album, so I'm working on some special things for that. But ultimately, I think I would like to I've got to make another record, just for contractual obligations.
Okay.
Which I'm working on now. I don't know if it's going to be 12 songs in an album, or it may be 4 3-song EPs. I haven't decided yet. I love making music. I love writing music, but I'm really loving doing this right now with my wife. And
I think it's a good change
and
for you
learning
for a
something
minute.
new. Yeah.
But I can't not have you make music. Like, I love.
I'll still make music for you.
That's it. That's it. That's all that I needed. And on that note, that's the end of us for today.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime. We'll be here all summer in Los Angeles. So Kevin Martin, Natalie Martin's husband of the
Mr. Natalie Martin.
Mr. Natalie Martin.
I often thought, Gavin Rossdale, his biggest mistake was not being Mr. Gwen Stefani.
Look where that got them.
Exactly.
See, you learned. You know better. You can follow Kevin on social media. I am Kevin Martin on Instagram, at IMKM on Twitter. Thank you very much for helping me out today.
My pleasure. Had a
I
blast.
appreciated it very much. Everything at Miggs and Swig. Thank you so much for tuning in to me, the Juice with JoJo, here on this Saturday morning. A cat named Mo is coming up next. I believe he's on location with Billy Fusillo, so you're not going to want to miss that. We'll be here same time, same channel next Saturday. Miggs and Swig on 102.5 The Bone.